Go. Is this on?
Hold on. Action.
Hi guys, I'm Camille.
Camille,
Hold
me
up.
first.
No, me first. I'm Camille.
And I'm Suned.
And we're gonna be talking.
Action. Take 2.
Hi guys, I'm Camille.
And I'm Suned.
And today we're gonna be talking about our adoption story.
Alright, so growing up, we lived in a household where it was just me, Camille, our dog, our mother, and then our titi. Our titi, we were told when we were younger, was just like our mom's best friend who helped her with us to take care of us because she had a miscarriage when she was younger. And when we were born, our father passed away. So they were best friends, just raising both of us together. And that's what we thought for about 18 years of our life.
Right, and we were always like curious like as to who our dad was, what happened. Our mom was very like, oh, he just passed away, girls, you know, like don't ask me any questions.
She had like such a good, she had like a set story to say, like a set answer for everything whenever we wanted a question, whenever we had a question. And she always had like just one small picture of him, and whenever there were like 2 times that we got curious to know who our dad was, and she would just show us a small picture, and after a couple of years it disappeared. We never seen it again.
Yeah, and then like in high school, like there was always rumors going around. Like I remember my freshman year, somebody was like, oh, like, were you guys adopted? Like, are your parents gay? Like things like that. And like we were so innocent, so we would always be like, oh no, like what are you talking about? And then we would go home and then question our mom, like what is going on.
And Cam more me, like I would just be like observing the way Cam would ask my mom, but Cam would be so like, why aren't you telling us? Like, is there something like things just didn't add up. Like we didn't have pictures of baby showers, gender reveals, pictures in the hospital, pictures of our mom pregnant, so like things were like missing. But Cam would be the one to like, you know, fight about it with our mom.
Yeah, I was always super curious.
Yeah.
What do you remember about the day that you found out?
I remember being in my room with my 2 friends, and my mom had just came home from the Dominican Republic, and her and my titi, my second mom, were in the kitchen arguing, and me being curious, I was like, oh girls, like I'm just gonna go eavesdrop on my parents. So I did, and I'm over here listening, and they were arguing about like, I'm not gonna say exactly what, but like about them being gay or whatever.
It was like about vows, right?
Like about like breaking vows or something. Like I'm not gonna put their business out, but that made me super curious, and then I was like, wait, what's going on? So I called it, and I'm like, yo, like I think our parents are gay.
Yeah.
So that was the before anything, that was number 1. It was that they were gay. And then for me, when Cam called me, I was in Montclair State University. I was staying over my best friend's dorm at the time, and I was just laying in bed with her, and Cam calls me and she goes, Suned, like I just left the house, I'm crying. And I'm like, what happened? She's like, oh, I just found out that our parents are gay. And I was like, what? And I just started bawling into tears, and I got a phone call, so I had to tell her like, oh, hold on, I'm gonna give you a call back. Got a phone call, it ended up being my neighbor, and she basically confirmed the whole thing. She was like, oh, so what does it feel like now knowing that your parents are gay? And I was just like, what? Like, she just like literally confirms everything. yeah.
And then as soon as I hung up on her, like me and Camille were texting like, oh, we can't believe it, whatever. And then I just started like looking for private investigators. I don't know why, but
Private investigators for what?
I don't know. I don't remember, but I was just looking for private investigators, like crying. I don't know. And what happened after that was the next day I had asked my best friend at the time to go to my house to get me some clothes, because I just didn't want to be in the same environment. There was just so much going on in the house with them fighting over what they were going through, and then us like having to process the whole situation. So I wanted to spend time alone, so I just packed so many bags and stationed myself at my cousin's house. And from there, like we were staying at like our friends' houses, everywhere.
I think like what made our parents so like argumentative at that time, that made us want to like leave our house and stuff, was the fact that they would have preferred us finding out like after we graduated college. Even though we had already been curious and had already known like right from wrong, they would have preferred it like letting us know after we had graduated. And I feel like it would have been maybe like it would have been a little worse.
And I just feel like they didn't give us a choice on whether we wanted to know or not. Like, it was kind of like when they wanted us to.
Right. So I feel like when they were like being really argumentative and stuff, it was more like, oh, how could you have been so loud that Camille overheard you and things like that. So like it wasn't the environment we were just trying to be in. So we preferred to just stay at our friends' houses.
Did you think like that they would have ever told you if you guys didn't find out the way that you did?
I don't think they wanted to at all, because I think that they,
like, why was it a secret?
Yeah, I just feel like they created such a stable household that they wouldn't have wanted to risk it.
And everyone was playing their part. Like everyone,
really well.
All of our cousins, all of our friends' moms, all of our like everyone knew like their role in this secret.
And if something was working, then why why
and I feel like
it?
I think in their minds, like by the time we had graduated college, that it wouldn't have been that big of a deal for it to have been like oh, coming out of the closet type of thing. Like it kind of would be like, oh yeah, girls, like by the way, we're gay, like just letting you know, whatever. You know?
Yeah, but coming from someone who knows your family, they're very like, well, not your family, but your parents. Mm-hmm. They're very old school in the sense where I think that now being gay is okay, but before it wasn't. Yeah. So I think that's why they're maybe scared, don't you think?
Yeah, that's actually sure. So after like we left the house and everything, they actually came to where we were to speak to us and to explain everything to us. And the way I remember them coming in was, as we just sat down just like this, and they already started to fight. They were like arguing about what they were going through themselves. And when they started to speak, one of the reasons was because being gay back then was so hard, and they wanted to keep it a secret because they didn't want to be embarrassed or looked down upon by
I think that they didn't want us to get bullied. Like, I feel like that was their main concern. I feel like they thought that if we would have found out, like, perhaps if we were in high school or maybe even younger, that we would have got bullied. And honestly, like, I feel like we've always been strong girls. Like, we've always been really strong. And sure, like, people have always, like, spoke about us and stuff or whatever, but, like, I feel like we've always held our own. So I would never care if people were talking about my parents being gay. Like, it would not affect me. Like,
yeah.
Who do you
my
think?
parents were gay. My parents are gay, and they raised two strong women, like, to this day, you know? So.
And who do you think it affected, like, the most?
I think me, for sure.
Yeah, I think you. It's just that the way it affected me was different, because for me it was just the fact that our whole household changed, so we had to like re-coordinate everything in our heads, like the way everything was working. So that's just, and like I was just so surprised. Like, that's, I don't even know how else to say it.
For me, it was kind of like I had my gay phase in high school, and like my mom was not okay with it whatsoever. So like I got treated a certain type of way because of my phase at that time. So when I
kind of like they were homophobic, right?
Yeah, like they acted as if they were homophobic. Like my friends that dressed like guys and stuff, they looked at them weird and stuff, and it just made me like hate them. So like when I had found everything out, I actually grew hatred towards them. I love them, but like I was angry at them. I think it's in better words. Like I don't know, because at that point in my life, like that's what I thought I wanted to do, and like I just felt like
why if your parents are gay, why didn't they accept you and like make it easy for you type of thing.
Do you think like it's an internal thing though? Like maybe they weren't okay with themselves being gay, and that's why they didn't want that for you.
Yeah, maybe. It could have been, or I think that they were just trying to protect us from the world.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how it was. They like everything was just to protect us. Like had you been there at that moment when they were speaking to us, they kept repeating like they just wanted to protect us.
Yeah, I just think that in the long run it just was the wrong way, you know?
Yeah.
But it happened.
So it affected us. Like we left the house and everything. I ended up like leaving school and just like working and stuff. I remember just like going to my boyfriend's house at the time, like, and just crying all the time. I cried a lot, like every day. Just like when people would ask me if I was okay, I would just cry. It was just a lot to process, and I was going through that, and then I was going through like other personal things, so I was just battling like too many things at once.
Yeah, for me it was just like I would literally be sitting in my classroom and I'd just be crying my eyes out. I was minoring in dance at Montclair, and I would just be in the class and I would literally be like, I need to leave because I can't dance. And dance has always been for us like an escape, like a way for us to like relieve our stress and stuff. But nothing was working. I honestly would have, I quit my job. I dropped out of school. I liked being just sitting in my friend's house, like, you know.
I do think that your friends played a big part in it, coming from someone who was there. Remember, you called all of us.
Yeah,
I know.
And you were like, guys, everyone needs to come meet up. And I'm like, what news do they have?
Like chicken.
We got
it was like a Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we had like wine, we had food, we had chips, like we had a whole bunch of stuff, and it was all the girls. I remember that when we got there, we were all eating, like an hour passed, hanging out. And then you were like, okay guys, we need to get serious. And then you said it, and I don't know, for some reason I just felt you guys, your dance was definitely your escape, but I feel like your friends were like the root of like your strength.
Yeah,
for sure.
And Haley's behind the camera. She was one of the people that like opened the doors for us when we had nowhere to go, like when we were just like migrating everywhere.
Willingly though, we weren't kicked out of the house.
Yeah, we willingly left our house. She was one of the people that opened the door for us. So like our friends at the time, like they played a big role.
Word. So shout out to Haley, shout out to Yvette and her family.
Yeah.
And our cousin Steph. You guys are the best. But
everybody.
Our friends were awesome. But anyways, back to the story. So about like a month after we had found out that our parents were gay, we ended up having like a family meeting in our cousin's house. And while this was all going down and we were talking about them being gay and them protecting us from the world, my titi, and you remember this better, so I think you should say it. You say it.
It just like slipped out of her mouth that she spoke about like how hard it was being gay back in the day, and then it just slipped out of her mouth about how hard the adoption process was. And my mom got so mad at her. She was like, why are you telling them? Like, they weren't supposed to know that yet. And she started to cry and she was like, they need to know, like, it's just the time. And me and Camille we were looking at them and we just looked down and started crying. Because, like, can you just imagine, like, living your whole 18 years of life thinking that the woman you're, like, living with is really your mom? Although she is my mom for, like, raising us, like, not blood, you know? Oh, my goodness. Just not like blood. So it was like kind of like, well, like
for me it like hit me psychologically because I've always been so attached to my mom. So like for me, I couldn't understand in my mind how that lady didn't give me birth, because I am literally exactly like my mom. Like that she's my spirit animal. Like I have her attitude. Like I think we get our strength from her.
Our strength from our mom and our sensitivity
from our titi for sure.
So you found out later. So you found out that they were gay, and then you found out you were adopted.
Yeah, so
see, I didn't know that. I thought you found out. Well, maybe I forgot. So
no. When I found out that they were gay, I thought that my mom like had us with our father and then turned gay with our titi.
Makes sense, yeah.
As they were raising us was when my mom like turned gay.
Yeah, and it just made sense that like she would have been our mom because she was the Dominican one with our color skin, Dominican, and then our titi was Ecuadorian. So like they picked it to be that way. Perfectly. So that it made sense.
And you never questioned it, because I know your mom. Like, you guys don't physically look like her. I mean, you resemble her.
So?
I think you guys resemble her, but that's because you have so much of her. I don't think you guys physically have a similar face.
Yeah, no, I think we kind of always assume that we look more like our father.
Yeah, and that's what she said too, that we look more like our dad.
So we were just like, okay, whatever. Like our father's genes are more dominant, you know?
So yeah, and then after that day that we were in the house, like they started to fight and we just left. And we just like went about our lives, like letting them like go through what they were going through, and then us trying to process everything. And it got really hard just like being on our own.
So are you interested at all in meeting like your real mother or your real father? Maybe you have siblings that you don't know about.
I definitely think that the year we found out we weren't interested in meeting them, we were more interested in rekindling our family and fixing our home, because our home was broken. But now, in today's time, now being 3 years later, we are interested. Our parents are totally like in on it with us. We actually just found out that she was 21 years old and she gave birth to us in the Dominican Republic, in the capital. And the reason why she had to give us up was like for financial reasons. Like in the Dominican Republic, they are known to be a very poor island. So that's why. And our parents, when we found out, they always instilled in us that they didn't want us to hate her for what they did. They wanted us to understand why she did it. And honestly, we couldn't be like any more grateful that the way things happened, because we were so blessed with our parents. Like we were never in lack of anything. So how can we hate them or anything? Right, so stay tuned. We will be flying out to the Dominican Republic next week in hopes of finding our biological family. We have no idea where they are, if they even want to meet us, but with God's will, we will be able to find them, and we'll just go from there.
Thank you for watching The Twins. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.